In the year 2387, Earth was no longer the sole cradle of humanity. Colonies sprawled across the solar system, each a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. But with expansion came conflict. The discovery of intelligent alien species ignited both wonder and terror. Among these, the Zartaxians were the most formidable, a race of towering, chitinous beings with a penchant for domination. Their very presence sent shivers down the spines of other species. On the outskirts of the Cydonia colony on Mars, a grand assembly convened. Representatives from various alien factions gathered to negotiate a fragile peace treaty, one that was crucial for the survival of the interstellar community. Yet, as the delegates arrived, a palpable tension filled the air. Everyone knew that the Zartaxians viewed negotiation as a sign of weakness. The atmosphere crackled with anxiety, and the smaller species whispered amongst themselves, casting wary glances at their Zartaxian counterparts. As the meeting commenced, the Zartaxian leader, a massive creature named Zalcor, loomed over the table. His multiple eyes gleamed with an unsettling intelligence, and the room held its breath. He began to speak in a deep, resonant voice that reverberated through the assembly hall. "We will not be disrespected," he declared, the ground trembling slightly with his words. "You must submit to our authority if you wish to coexist. Or else." His ominous words hung in the air, sending ripples of fear through the gathered delegates. Many species had experienced the wrath of the Zartaxians firsthand, and the memories of their brutal conquests were fresh in their minds. As Zalcor's gaze swept across the room, most delegates averted their eyes, their hearts racing. But one delegate did not cower. Sarah Connors, a human representative, stood tall. Her dark hair framed a determined face, and her blue eyes sparkled with a mix of defiance and pragmatism. She had come prepared for this moment, armed not just with knowledge, but with the unyielding spirit that had defined humanity's rise among the stars. "Zalcor," she began, her voice steady, cutting through the oppressive silence. "You threaten us with submission, yet you fail to see the strength of unity. The alliances we forge are not based on fear, but on mutual respect." The murmurs in the room hushed as the Zartaxian leader turned his multiple eyes upon her. Some delegates, particularly from smaller species, gasped. How could a mere human challenge the might of the Zartaxians? Zalcor's lips curled into a sneer, revealing rows of serrated teeth. "Humans, always so brash. Your confidence is misplaced. Your kind cannot grasp the power we hold." But Sarah pressed on. "Perhaps we don't fear your power because we understand something fundamental. Our strength lies not in our numbers or technology, but in our will to resist tyranny. We have faced greater odds and emerged victorious." Her words ignited a spark among the other human delegates present. They shared glances, their resolve building. One by one, they stood beside Sarah, each adding their voices to the rising tide of defiance. As the humans united, the other delegates watched, torn between fear of the Zartaxians and a burgeoning hope ignited by the humans' audacity. A few of the more courageous representatives, emboldened by Sarah's words, began to join in. "We are tired of living under the threat of your species," one of them exclaimed. "Together we can oppose you." The room filled with murmurs of agreement. A wave of defiance washed over the assembly, and the Zartaxians, who had expected subservience, found themselves facing an unexpected force. Zalcor's expression twisted in anger. "You will regret this insolence," he roared, slamming a fist on the table which cracked under the force. But the humans held their ground. And in that moment, something extraordinary happened. The once dominant Zartaxians found themselves on the defensive. The cries of the other species joined the humans' voices, creating a symphony of unity that resonated throughout the chamber. "We will not be your pawns," shouted a delegate from the Trelax, a small but intelligent species known for their strategic brilliance. "We refuse to submit." As tensions escalated, Sarah took a calculated risk. "Let's not resolve this with threats. Let us compete instead." A challenge of wits and strategy. "If you win, we will submit to your rule. If we win, you will recognize our autonomy and respect our alliances." Zalcor's eyes narrowed, weighing the offer. Such challenges were uncommon. It was against the Zartaxian code to engage in games. But the thrill of dominance urged him to consider it. After a long, tense moment, he replied, "Very well. But understand this, I will crush you." The humans smiled, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They had turned the tide, at least for now. The game was set, and the entire assembly knew that this was a turning point. For the next several weeks, the assembly transformed into a battleground of intellect. Humans, Tralaxians, and other species pooled their resources, strategizing to outmaneuver the Zartaxians. Each day brought new challenges, puzzles of logic, tests of bravery, and games of strategy. As they collaborated, an unanticipated bond formed between the species. They shared ideas, cultures, and strengths. The humans, known for their resourcefulness, provided inventive strategies that amazed their counterparts. The Tralaxians contributed their keen analytical minds, while the other species offered unique perspectives that enriched their collective efforts. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. The hall was filled with delegates, their anticipation palpable. Zalcor, confident and menacing, took his place at the head of the table, flanked by his Zartaxian allies. Sarah stood at the forefront of the united coalition, a flicker of hope in her heart. The games began, and the atmosphere shifted from dread to exhilaration. With each round, the humans and their allies displayed ingenuity that caught the Zartaxians off guard. They played not just for survival, but for freedom and dignity. In the climactic final game, a complex strategy board that mirrored the galaxy itself, the tension reached a breaking point. Moves were made with calculated precision, and when the last piece fell into place, it became clear the humans and their allies had outsmarted the Zartaxians. The hall erupted in cheers, and Sarah felt a rush of triumph. Zalcor, furious but forced to concede, glared at the gathered coalition. "You may have won this day, but do not think this is over." Sarah stepped forward, her voice ringing with certainty. "No, Zalcor, this is just the beginning. You have underestimated us, but today we have shown the power of unity. We will not live in fear." The Zartaxians retreated, their shadows no longer looming over the assembly. And as the delegates celebrated their hard-won victory, the humans stood tall, a symbol of resilience, proving once and for all that even in the face of overwhelming fear, they would not back down. From that day forward, the galaxy witnessed a new era, one where unity among diverse species became the cornerstone of peace. And humanity, with its indomitable spirit, was at the heart of it all.